and we're here with you, and we're going to be with you for, oh boy, the next hour or so, because what we're going to do, we're going to engage us in conversation, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We thank you for being along with us on this brand new day. And waited all week, right? You waited all week. Things are looking good. I hope so, because we're going to try to make it even better for you to get your weekend started. And we want to thank you for being along. We've got so much to talk about today, and you're going to be part of it too. We've got Sports at Brian Camp coming up, 2020 feature, Brian Camp, and of course DJ P2 with, of course, the Sports with Brian, and all kinds of information and entertainment, and reciting all of those birthdays. So that's all coming up. And of course, we're going to be talking about later about movies, right? Those classic movies that you love so much. I have my picks of the weekend, and you'll be able to watch them. I think you're going to like them. In the meantime, thank you so much for being along with us. We're going to raise our cups today, because if it's the coffee hour, what would the coffee hour be without coffee? So salute, Giandani, and all the best. That's delicious. That's great. And, well, look, a lot of things are going on. I want to say hi to all of you people who are watching on Facebook, and all of you guys on YouTube. We simulcast each week on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So we want to just send our greetings out there. I see people are starting to come in. And so I just want to wave to you guys. And of course, YouTube, right? It's a great way to start the weekend and give it a little class. Now, if you happen to be at work right now, we hope that you're watching. And if you're taking your coffee break, which most places, they give you 15 minutes? 15 minutes, like in the old days in the corporate world, they give you like a 15-minute coffee break or something. Maybe this is your 15 minutes to take it. And you can take that 15 minutes and stay at your desk and drink your coffee without working. And then after it's time to go back to work, you can still watch on your computer or your cell phone, your iPads, or whatever you have, and watch us at the same time while you're working, as they call simulcasting, or in your case, it would be multitasking, right? So we thank you so much for being along with us. When you come in, by the way, you want to say hi, give us your weather forecast. If you have a weather forecast in your area, wherever you are, if you're in New York, don't worry about it. I'll take care of all of that for you. And we'll have fun, but we'll talk about that a little later. But right now, I want to give that hearty hand clap, as I do each week, to all of you, of course. All of you, you deserve it. And for taking the time to be here, we really appreciate that. And of course, that hand clap goes to all of the people who are in the hospitals, like the doctors, the nurses, and all other hospital personnel. And of course, the first responders, like the firefighters, the police officers, all of the people who work in essential places, in offices and business, grocery stores, supermarket. They weathered the storm when this pandemic was going on. And by the way, the pandemic is still going on, and we still have to proceed with caution until we get it flattened out. But we want to thank all of you people for doing that, and we will continue to do so until it's all over. And even beyond that, because your job is very important with or without a pandemic. Your job is still very important, and we need you. So that's our hand clap to all of you guys. And speaking of all of that, we talked about protecting yourselves, and a lot of people do, by getting vaccinated. The vaccines are on the market. It has been on for a long time. You have 3 to choose from. You have the COVID, the vaccine for COVID, which is J&J, Johnson & Johnson. You have Moderna, and of course you have Pfizer. Now, if you're taking Johnson & Johnson, you only required 1 shot. And if you're taking the others like Moderna and Pfizer, that requires 2. And now the way it looks is that you could probably go in, just walk right in and take it, as opposed to before. But there are some places that still do it, as opposed to before. They have you make an appointment, all right? But they still do, some places, but for the most part, I don't think you have to have an appointment anymore. I think what you have to have, though, is just to walk right in there and say, hey, I want to take my vaccination, and whatever they have available for you. Now, if your doctor may have a supply of them, you take that. You can go to your pharmacist, your local pharmacist. You can go anywhere, just about, where they service you that way. And you can, there are drive-throughs, there are stadiums, there are all kinds of arenas that open up for this. and they urge you to take it. And I personally push it. A lot of people are still on the fence about taking the vaccination, but I still push it, and I'm pushing it. The reason why I push it, because I want to make sure this thing is completely flat, out of the way, finito. That's it, nada, right? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for where it's not here anymore. And just we want to protect ourselves. Now, those of you who are fully vaccinated, well, then, of course, you know that you are free to walk around without your mask, whether you're indoors or outdoors. And of course, you don't have to practice the 6 feet distance. People are going to stadiums. Brian told us last week some of the stadiums are going to go full capacity pretty soon. You know, your favorite sports are going to be full effect when the football season come in. I know a lot of people at that time, they're going to be looking forward to that. Full capacity, basketball teams all coming back, and they're waiting for that day. Now, for those of you who are not vaccinated, you can still do the same thing. However, I think there's a section just especially for you, you know, until you actually get vaccinated. And because they're going to be checking up on that. They're going to be checking up on that. And, you know, we'll have to see. So, you know, keep that in mind. I want to say hello to DJ Petey's out there right now. Yeah, I mean, let's see. He says good morning to Frank and Brian. Brian didn't get here yet. DJ Pete is there, and everyone's watching today, so I'm pretty glad of that. And of course, you're watching too. There's Facebook and there's YouTube. But want to get back to vaccinations. There are places you can go. Now, if you look up in the subject area, right? If you're watching on YouTube, I'm sorry, on Facebook, up in the subject area. If you're watching on YouTube, look in the chat area. It's way at the top, and you can see it. And they give you all kinds of information right there. You see right there, it said the name of the show, and it has the today's date, and then underneath that it says COVID-19 test, which is and right next to it is a number, as you could already see. And I leave that number up there every week. Now, that's a local New York number, but I'm pretty sure if you call it, they will give you a roadmap, and it'll give you information on where to go. But for the most part, in your area, I'm pretty sure they are local numbers and local websites that will, you know, lead you there. But I keep that number for people, especially if you're a New Yorker. It's 718-638-7682. You know, so call that number, and you can find out where to go to get vaccinated. Or if you have any questions about the COVID-19, which people do, you could always get the answers there. There are no dumb questions about this disease, you know, because it's out there and was trying to combat. The only thing that we ought to know is that the best way to right now is to conquer it is continue to wear your mask. If you're going in public places that require that, carry a mask with you, even if you're fully vaccinated and you don't have to wear a mask. At least carry it in your pocket. You know, therefore, when you go to these public places that whether you're vaccinated or not, they want to know that you have your mask, and you know, if you want service, you have public transportation in places where they absolutely need masks. And if you're riding the subway or the buses, you know, of course, wear your mask. If you're flying, you're going to wear a mask. That's the way it is until we get total control of it. And once we do, it'll be great to go back in time where we can all see our pretty faces once again. So do that. So that number I just gave you, you know, that's a roadmap. It'll lead you there. But the local numbers you may have, it all takes Googling to find it. And in terms of that, I have, you know, information here that I like to use. Now, if you're in New York City has a 3-digit number, 311. And of course, that's a New York City number, which gives you anything you want to know about New York City, places to go, people to see, like bars, restaurants, the best restaurants, theaters, all of that information they can have for you. And you can call that number. And people who are tourists, they come into town and they want to know where to go, they could use that number too, 311. You could also use that number to report things such as maybe a broken street pothole or something, you know, something collapsed or whatever. You could always call 311 and report that if you see a disturbance or something, or if there's a disturbance in your building, or the person upstairs ahead of you just refuses, even though he knows or she knows the ground rules after 10 o'clock, all noises cease, and it continues. And if your landlord or your, people that run your building, security or whatever, they are unwilling or unable to do anything about it, call that number and they can lead you to the right places. And of course, you already know that when you call that number too, you can get information about the COVID-19 test, where to go to get the test, where to go to get vaccinated as well. So you have all of that. And of course, in New York City, we have a website as well. For those of you who are local in New York, that website is nycvaccinelist.com. You got that? That's very easy to remember. All right, that's nycvaccinelist.com. And you go there, they'll give you a list of places where you can go to get vaccinated if you don't know where to go. But listen, it's simple. It's not hard to find a place where you can go. As I said, you can go to your pharmacist, your doctor. Maybe they can recommend someone to you if you don't know. And look out for yourself and look out for others at the same time, and again, continue to wear your mask if you have to, and those places that require, whether you're vaccinated or not, of course, you're going to take your mask with you in your pocket or your purse and make sure that you have it handy. So when you need it, it's right there. So all of that information is right there for you. So please keep all of that in mind. Okay, I want to say hello to more people who are coming in. I see there more people are coming in. So hi. Thank you for joining us. You there on Facebook and you there on YouTube. Thank you so much for being along with us on this Friday. We've got, don't forget when you come in, and it would be nice if you give us your weather forecast. We would love to have that for you. But I have one for you coming out of New York. But before I do that, I just want to acknowledge something to you. Probably heard about it by now. You have in Surfside, Florida, you had that building collapse. It was a condo building collapse, right? And the numbers went up. Thank God it's not as, tragic, because in the beginning they only found one dead. They found 3 more bodies. So now it just boosted up to 4. That's still too many. But the good news, though, they have found a lot of people that they were accounted for. They rescued them. But on the sad note of all of that, 59 people were unaccounted for in this building collapse. So, and they're still digging. They're still trying to get people out of there, people that maybe still there alive. They're trying to dig them out. And we hope that there are many more that are survivors that can come out of this alive. A lot of people weren't found. It's just strange how, because a building just doesn't collapse just like that, And so, they're trying to get to the root of the matter, find out how it happened, why it happened, and see that it never happens again. And buildings, tall buildings, and they do have tall buildings in Florida, like the hotels and all of that. But that was strange. It was strange. So we want to send our prayers out to those people who have who weren't found yet. Hopefully they will be found alive, and prayers out to their families, and just keep hoping for the best. Today is a sentence day for Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin, the former officer who murdered George Floyd. And his sentence is today. I'm going to keep a good lookout on that. Later on today, after this show is over, I'm going to stay glued to the TV and find out what's going on with that. So there's a lot of things going on today. So just let's keep our fingers crossed. And something, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the family of George Floyd, because I could never imagine what they're feeling. They're the only ones that know, and they can talk about it, but we'll still never know how they're feeling. But the only thing we can do is just say a prayer for them and wish them the best. Wish them the best. Okay, we're going to take a look at our weather forecast in New York City. You have one. Wherever you are in New York City, you don't have to worry about New York. I'll take care of New York. But if you have one wherever you are in different parts of the country or different parts of the world, please let us know as you come in, and we'd be glad to read it off for you. So our weather looks like this for the day. For Friday, today is Friday, so we have sun and clouds mixed today. We'll have a high near 80 degrees. Winds will be southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. By the way, we have 69 degrees presently. For tonight, partly cloudy skies. We have early, yeah, it's going to be partly cloudy skies early. We'll give away to cloudy skies late, and we'll have a low near 70 degrees, so it gets warmer. And we're going to have a high of 80 degrees today. Did I mention that? 80 degrees. Wow, so it's getting warmer. They said the weekend was going to get warmer here in New York. So anyway, the winds are south at 5 to 10 miles per hour for tonight. And for Saturday, well, let's see. Okay, here's how it looks. Cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 82 degrees. Winds will be south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. I'm sorry to say, you want to do the outdoor thing or for the weekend, it just doesn't get any better. It's going to have a high of 82 degrees on Saturday. It doesn't get any better. Mostly cloudy for Saturday night. We'll have low temperatures at 72 degrees, and winds will be south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And as we wrap up our weekend for Sunday, that may be the better part of the day. I don't know. Cloudy skies early, followed by partial clearing. We'll have a high 87 degrees. Winds will be south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. So it doesn't say too much about wet weather. Not too much. The only kind of wet weather you're getting is for probably for Saturday. Little spritzes here and there, but no washout. So, and then you never know. Mother Nature, sometimes throw a curveball. All right, and what can you do? Present temperature here in New York City is 69 degrees. And welcome back, everybody. I see more people are coming in. There's Brian. He just walked in, and DJ Pete, of course, has his weather forecast. Thank you, DJ Pete, for that. Then we're going to read his right now, his weather info in Portland, Maine. And it's cloudy, winds out of the northeast at 7 miles per hour. And the humidity is 90%. Whew, 90%. And the UV index. Now, something, I'm not a meteorologist. I've heard of these terms, the UV index, and maybe DJ Pete is better than me, than I am. I don't know. Anyway, the UV index 3 to 10, and they're gonna have a high of 66 degrees, low 61 tonight, and that's what's happening in Portland, Maine. Naoto is out there from Kobe, Japan. Good morning to you, Naoto, and happy Friday or Saturday. Well, it's not Friday yet. It's after 11 o'clock in Tokyo, Japan, and Kobe, Japan. And so he's still on his Friday mode out there. And he has a weather forecast too. And in Kobe, Japan, he has 73 degrees, and it's going to be cloudy for tonight where he is. And southeast at I guess that's 23 miles per hour. 23 miles per hour. But, the way he has it is 2.3 miles per hour. So it's kind of different. And so that's what it is in Kobe, Japan. Now, the rest of you who come in, you want to talk, please, if you're in another city, another country, another state or whatever, give us your weather forecast too. We really would appreciate that. We really would appreciate that. And of course, in just a minute from now, Brian Camp will be on the phone with us from Charlotte, North Carolina, with the latest developments in today's world of sports. And he's going to give us that. He has a lot to talk about. And later on, as I said, we're going to give you all of the great movies of my picks of the Turner Classic movies that'll be on this weekend. You'll get a chance to watch. Some of us are not going to do the outdoor thing this weekend, especially here in New York, especially Saturday. So we don't know. It may be a little iffy with that, but we have to figure it out. But if it's too bad, of course, we'll have entertainment for you, all kinds of entertainment, all kinds of movies, and I'll give you my picks of the week. So there you have it. And of course, thank you. And again, excuse me while I shoot up. Oh boy, that's nothing like the first jolt of the day. Nothing like the first jolt of the day. And so I see more people are coming in. So if you don't have anything to say, that's okay, but you're here. That's the most important thing, that you're here. And we're glad you're out. But the rest of you, if you'd like to say hello, say hello. We don't bite here. and it'll be great to talk to you guys out there. And so there you have it. And what else do we have on tap? Later on, I said there's later on we have, like I said, the 2020 feature coming along. DJ Pete, of course, all of us with the entertainment, and that's all coming up. And speaking of all of that, speaking of the 2020 feature, we're here at our first part of our 2020 feature. Brian Camp on the phone from Charlotte, North Carolina, and he's here once again with the latest developments in today's world of sports.
Good morning to all. Good morning to everyone out there on YouTube and in Facebook. Good morning to Pete. Good morning to Naota and everybody else out there. I'm out here in Charlotte, beautiful North Carolina, known as Queen City. And it is 73 degrees, going up to 84 with beautiful sunshine. It's going to be a nice weekend. I have a busy weekend myself. I was asked to cook for my community.
No kidding.
So there's going to be nothing but burgers and hot dogs, but they don't know. These are going to be my mother's secret recipe, homemade hamburgers. So I'm looking forward to that. But let me get to sports. In the NFL, Las Vegas Raiders defensive end Carl Nassib on Monday became the first active NFL player to announce he is gay. Raiders owners Mark Davis told ESPN, it's 2021. All the more power to Carl. It doesn't change my opinion of him as a person or as a Raider. Many of the athletes in various sports have supported him. Even Kuma Yokohama of Japan's NWSW Washington Spirit forward and Japan's national team came out as a transgender man in a YouTube video posted Sunday. President Biden offered support as well. So, in recent years we've had players, athletes in different various sports to come out and tell them that this is their lifestyle, and a lot of their teammates and athletes have supported them. So he came out and he's relieved, and we should be happy for him, to be honest, of what he is, and not to be ashamed. Still in the NFL, Buffalo Bills wide receiver Cole Beasley released a statement on Twitter last week in response to the sharp backlash that he has received on social media, disclosing that he is not vaccinated and pledged to live his own life as he wants to. Now, this is what he writes. I will be outside what I do. I'll be out in public. If you're sick, scared of me, then steer clear or get vaccinated. I may die of COVID-19, but I'd rather die actually living. I'm not going to take meds for a leg that isn't broken. I'd rather take my chances with COVID and build up my immunity system. That way, I'll play for free this year to live life how I lived it from day one. If I am forced into retirement, so be it. So here's a man that refused to take the vaccination, and we have to respect people's religious or personal or medical beliefs. This is what they want. This is what they do. Me personally, don't come to me personally and say that I don't want to take this virus because stop right there. Don't say because you get tired of hearing the different reasons why you're not taking it. Okay, think about others. If you don't want to take it, then do what Cole Beasley did. Just do what you have to do, but don't make any kind of excuses. So that's to him. And the NBA, Chris Paul is back from his COVID-19 protocol and health issues. He came back yesterday. Phoenix Suns lost to the Los Angeles Clippers, so he's back. He's okay because he was out for a while because he was vaccinated, but he was around people who might have been diagnosed with the virus, or he himself was maybe asymptomatic. We just don't know. We don't know all the details. Major League Baseball, we just found out that they started doing these random checks for foreign substance abuse, not abuse, but foreign substance on the pitchers. One pitcher, one player was picked out right after the inning was over. He came over, dropped his glove, pulled down his pants, stretched his arms out, and was searched. Now, did he carry this too much, too far? I think what these players are doing, they are going to make a statement, and when they make a statement like that, they just want to let you know, hey, I'm clean. But then everybody's not clean. Baseball, Major League Baseball is in shambles right now. Somebody said on social media, which I agree, they should reset the reset button on Major League Baseball from the time that it began to the 1919 scandal, World Series scandal, to baseball segregation, to spitball, greaseball, PEDs, like I just said, and just start all over. Because right now there's too many rule changes that's going on, so it needs to stop. Major League Baseball gotta just find a solution. I know a lot of people in baseball are not happy with the current commissioner right now. So that's where we stand for baseball. This story I'm about to announce is for Naoto. The WNBA Sue Bird and Diane Taurasi have been named to the U.S. Women's Basketball Olympics team for the 5th time. The 12 members of the U.S. team announced Monday morning will compete in the Tokyo Olympics to be held July 23rd to August 8th in the pursuit of the Americans' 7th consecutive gold medal in the sport. South Carolina's coach, Dawn Staley, a player on that 1996 team that started this streak of gold medals for the U.S. women in the team's coach. Or, Mr. Naoto, I would like for you to do me a favor and everybody else a favor. When the Olympics start, if you can, when you come on the show, can you just give us an update? What is the atmosphere like? Are people still wearing masks? Are they being protected? Give us like a little something. You don't have to call in, but you could just at least type it in and just give us something to know. We can only see what's on television, but we'd like for you to come in. I would like for you to come in and just type in some of the things that might be interest to us that would help us very, very much as well. This day in June 25th, 1935 future boxing champion Joe Louis moves to 20-0 with no losses with a 6-round TKO of former champion Primo Carnero of Italy at Yankee Stadium. That was in New York. 1948, Joe Louis knocks out Jersey Joe Walcott in 11 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title. 1961, Baltimore and California use a record 16 pitches, 8 of each team in 14 innings. 1968, Bobby Bonds hits a grand slam home run in his first major league game for the San Francisco Giants. That's my San Francisco Giants, yes. In 1988, Major League Baseball, Cal Ripken Jr. plays in his 1,000th consecutive game, which he has surpassed that. It was a record that he extended it to 2,632 consecutive games. So that was a day back in 1988 when he did 1,000. In 1997, the NBA draft, Wake Forest power forward Tim Duncan was the first pick by the San Antonio Spurs. 1999, the San Antonio Spurs beat the New York Knicks to capture their first franchise title, as Tim Duncan was named Finals MVP. Birthdays on this day: 1942, Willis Reed, Hall of Famer, MVP coach, center, born in Hicko, Louisiana. 1949, Phyllis George, remember her? Phyllis George is one of the first pioneers to be on a sportscaster birthday. She was also Miss America in 1971, a sportscaster for CBS television back in the day, back in the 70s. Was born in Denton, Texas. She passed away last year in 2020. 1964, Del Curry, born in Harrisburg, Virginia. 1966, Dikembe Mutombo, born in Libreville, Congo, in Africa. He's the guy that every time he blocks a shot, he shakes his finger. No, 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 no. You seen that commercial?
Yeah.
That he be shaking his finger at the little kid and other people.
Yeah.
Famous weddings. 1960, NBA player Oscar Robertson weds teacher Yvonne Critterton in Cincinnati, Ohio. In 1967, in Major League Baseball, Nolan Ryan pitched. Oh no, he weds his high school sweetheart, Ruth Holdridge. Yes. And in 1992, Jerome Brown, NFL tackle, dies in a car crash at the age of 27 years of age. Today would have been his birthday as well. That's sports.
Hey, listen, if you want Naoto, I just came up with an idea while you were thinking, while you were talking, and I'm thinking about it. If you want him on the phone, you two could set it up together the day that you want that information from him, and we could do a three-way if you want. That's up to you.
Sure, I don't have a problem speaking with him. It'd be nice.
Okay.
I would try to meet with him or talk with him through Messenger,
okay.
And let's see what he'll come up with. We have time. The Olympics will be coming up soon.
Yeah, and as you can see that in the chat area, he gave us some information about the U.S.-based football player. I didn't open it up yet, but I'm going to check it out a little later because I got to continue the show. But I'll check it out later.
Yes.
So there you go. Sports is, you got a lot. You always have a lot to talk about, and I'm glad that came about. But yeah, you want to? We could talk. I'm going to leave that up to you, but I can put you in touch with him, and if it's okay with him, I'll ask him if it's okay for him. And then when do you need to go on the air with that information? You said something about Olympics. When does that start?
The Olympics was going to start in July. Let me see, where is it? July 23rd through August 8th.
Okay, so you're just going to want that information. So we got until July. That's a little ways. Well, not too far away, but yeah.
Right.
Well, we can set that up. We could always set that up. Okay, Brian, that's about it. I appreciate it. And
everybody have enjoyed their weekend. Most of all, be safe.
Yeah.
And stay safe.
And save me a leftover burger, would you please?
Juicy burgers in the smoker.
I love it. Okay, have a good one. Have a good weekend. Take care. That's Brian Camp with the latest developments in today's world of sports with the Sports Update. And, of course, he's here every week. And that's the first part of the 2020 feature, which, of course, is here every week. Now, second part of the 2020 feature, DJ Pete. I'm hoping he's going to be here. I'm assuming he's going to be here because I didn't get any information from him. And when he doesn't send any information, he usually pops on. So we're going to see how that pans out. And that's 20 to the hour, as we always do. The 2020 feature, 20 after the hour, and 20 to the hour. And if you're just joining us, I was going to say Talk Back Live. That was last night. It's the coffee hour. And, of course, we're here every Friday, and you're just joining us for the first time. I want to thank you for being along with us and say, hey, wave. And DJ Pete is here, so he is going to be here. I was sweating bullets. Okay, yeah, he's going to be here. And and as I said, you're watching us. And if you're watching us for the first time, you have two options. Okay, you can watch us on Facebook, and you can watch us on YouTube. Can't find us on one, we're on the other, but we're on both. But whatever you choose to watch, we're right there for you every Friday. And everything here is Eastern. So we're here every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. And we're here for a whole full hour. And we entertain you whether you're at work, at home, or just whatever, just relaxing and watching us. And we're just so glad that you're out there. And waiting around for the weekend, those of you who are working, you can't wait to get out of that building, right? And say, hey, I want to kick off the weekend. Right, so I want to do this, I want to do that. Okay, you'll get your chance, and of course, fortunately for me, Brian, and DJ Pete, after this show is over, we've already started our weekend. So I'm not rubbing it in. I'm not rubbing it in. We just early people. That's all. We just get up early and do this show. Okay, so there you go. And those of you who are coming in, just please say hi. You don't have to hold a long conversation. Just say hi, and I would be glad to, say things to you. Say hi, and that's about it. And if you want to do a long conversation too, you want to be part of us as well. Give us your weather forecast if you're in any kind of city other than New York, because I already gave that weather forecast already. And it'll all be happening. It'll all be happening. And let's see. Oh, let me see. I'm checking everything. And okay, we did the weather report, and we did all of that. So all of that is coming up. Um, what's happening 4th of July? We got 4th of July coming up. There's a whole lot of things. And by the way, I hope you had a wonderful Father's Day and you did things that you wanted to do and, went out and, just have a ball. I hope you had a good time Father's Day. We got more holidays coming up. And before you know it, the 4th of July will be here. And, we're going to be setting off. Well, I don't encourage it, but they used to. I don't know if they outlawed it. Some places they probably outlawed those Roman candles, as they call them, right? Those firecrackers. And what I do, I urge all of you to leave those things to the professionals. When you go out, fireworks, things like that. You go out, and here in New York City, we have a place on the east side of town where they do fireworks every 4th of July. Now, the 4th of July, I believe, is on a Sunday. Am I right? Sunday, but we observe it that following day. So, 4th of July, we observe it on the 5th. So, whatever you're going to do, you do your outdoor barbecue, or you want to watch the fireworks late at night. Go to a place where they actually do fireworks professionally instead of launching yourself, because they get dangerous. Every year you hear about the tragic dangers about fires and fireworks and firecrackers. I remember they used to have those cherry bombs. Remember those cherry bombs? Those real high explosive, and you could hear those pop for miles. And you don't, I don't need. They probably outlawed those things. I haven't seen a cherry bomb since I was a kid. And firecrackers, I remember they used to light the firecrackers one pack, one pack. They light one fuse and just go pop, 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 pop. And the cherry bombs, they outlawed those things here in New York. I know that. I don't know how it is in other cities around the world. Maybe they did outlaw them altogether, because they're very, very dangerous. Very dangerous, those cherry bombs. And and I believe they outlawed them all over. At least I hope they would. And firecrackers, as if they weren't dangerous enough, they're dangerous enough. People, kids, they light them up and maybe forget to throw it out, and then all of a sudden, the firecracker pops in their hand. That happened to me one time when I was a kid. I had a firecracker. It was such a short fuse though, and I had to light it quick. I was a mischievous kid growing up, and lit it. The fuse was so short, but I couldn't release it in time, and it blew up in my fingers, and I lost the nail here. You live and learn. You live and learn. So, again, you're going to celebrate on the 4th of July, leave all the fireworks and the firecrackers, cherry bombs, or whatever noises they make, leave those to the professionals. They know what they're doing. They do that for a living. They're trained, and they'll have your safety in mind too. But it's always a nice thing to do. I see people come from miles around from different boroughs, here in New York City, and they just go over to the east side of town. They used to have what they call the Macy's fireworks. And the Macy's fireworks was always on the west side. So they used to alternate them, right? And sometimes it would be on the west side on the Hudson River, and on the east side on the East River. So you could see it, and people's windows who would be facing the east side, could actually see it without even going out there. If they live in high rises, they have a lot of high rises, and people who live in buildings on the side of the river on the east side, looking east, the high rises look out their window and you can see the fireworks, no problem. And people on the other side, which would probably be in Brooklyn, that live in those high rises, they face the west and they can see the fireworks. So people got a chance to see that. I know in the complex that I live, they used to have fireworks, right? They used to do the fireworks, and we used to go up on the rooftop. But they outlawed that. They They close those doors. They don't let us do that anymore. So there are a lot of ways to have fun and do the fireworks and everything. And I am so glad to see and hear that this man is back. Haven't seen him in a couple of weeks, and he is here. And he's here bringing you all of the information on entertainment. But first thing I have to ask you, Pete, I didn't see. Brian informed me about it. Did you did a big yawn and something happened? Are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
What happened?
I woke up Tuesday morning, I yawned, and I dislocated my jaw.
How you feel today?
Okay, it's good. I mean, it's not as bad as people think it is.
Okay.
It's just, I mean, technically it was dislocated. It's just what happened was it kind of locked in an open position.
Okay. Did you go to the doctor or anything? Or?
Yeah, I actually had to go to the emergency room.
Yeah.
And they had they used some drugs to relax the muscles there. The muscles in your jaw are the strongest ones in the human body.
Okay. Wow.
So
I'm glad you're okay. I was wondering, you're coming on here. I was wondering how you have to talk, but we'll get more into that. But right now, it's your show.
I got a lot of stuff here, and I'm going to do it a little different this week. I'm going to go backwards. We're going to start with Eric Arthur Blair, born June 25th, 1903. His pen name, because he's a writer, is George Orwell. He is known for a novel, Animal Farm, in 1984, which became a movie. He was very outspoken against anti-fascism, anti-Stalinism, anarchism, all sorts of stuff like that. He coined the terms Big Brother, which is a fictional character in his 1984 novel of a totalitarian dictator, the Thought Police, which is a secret police of that totalitarian government. Nazi Germany had them. The Soviet Union had them. Any country that had fascism or communism have some sort of secret police to make sure the people are in line with the politics of the government. Continuing on, we have Carly Elizabeth Simon, born this week, June 25th, 1945. American singer, songwriter, musician. One of her hit tunes, Anticipation. I think a ketchup company made a commercial of that.
That's right, they did.
Because ketchup would go very slow coming out of the bottle. Let's see. Born June 25th, 1937, Edward Lee Floyd, Eddie Floyd, American soul R&B singer. Was on Stax Records, STAX, in 1960s and 70s. What was I going to say here? He was his stuff was the forerunners to the future Detroit vocal groups such as the Temptations and the Four Tops. Born this week, June 24th, 1900. Lemuel Eugene Lucas, also known as Gene Austin, American singer-songwriter, one of the first country crooners. A lot of great music, My Blue Heaven, When My Sugar Walks Down the Street. Born in Gainesville, Texas. And some people might have seen him in his cowboy clothes on a horse, and he did a really great recording of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in country style. Born June 23rd, 1913, Helen Humes, American jazz and blues singer, one of my favorites. Some of her tunes, Wooja Makucha, I have no idea what that means. Vooit, V-O-O-I-T. She appeared in the musical film Jivin' in Bebop by Dizzy Gillespie, and had a great musical career. Born June 22nd, 1936, Christopher Christofferson, American, retired now, singer, songwriter, and actor. He was one of the, let me find it here. Here's one of his famous tunes here. Me and Bobby McGee, that he wrote, For the Good Times, Sunday Morning Coming Down, and Help Me Make It Through the Night, which were all hits for other artists that he wrote. He did a special band with Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, and Johnny Cash. They called the group the Highwaymen. It was one of the creative country music forces for the outlaw style country music movement. Ella Johnson, not many people know about her. She was the sister of the famous big band leader Buddy Johnson. Born June 22nd, 1919. She has a hit tune here. Let me find it. That she sang. Did you see Jackie Robinson hit that ball?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Please, Mr. Johnson, and a few others. And she sang for her brother, Buddy Johnson's band. Let's see. Big Jim Wynn, W-Y-N-N. June 21st, 1908. American jump blues saxophonist, pianist, and big band leader. Yeah, great. I mean, this is some of my favorite music, jump blues. Hey Baba Rebop was one of his tunes. Let's see. It says here that Be Baba Liba was recorded by Helen Humes with one of his tunes. Kind of interesting note there. Born June 20th, 1952. John Stephen Goodman, actor John Goodman, also a singer too. He was in many movies, The Big Lebowski, Raising Arizona. Oh my gosh, that was such a funny movie. And one of my favorite movies, Blues Brothers 2000, where he becomes a member of the Blues Brothers band. I believe he has appeared with Dan Aykroyd, and maybe Jim Belushi also in later versions of the Blues Brothers Live. Let's see, born June 20th, 1924, Chester Burton Atkins, known as Chet Atkins, nicknamed Mr. Guitar or the Country Gentleman. He was an American musician, occasionally vocalist, songwriter, record producer, helped create the Nashville sound of country music. And finally, someone who I've never met, but I've met some of his family members and people he worked with. Donato Joseph Cedrone, born June 20th, 1920, known as Danny Cedrone. Danny Cedrone had his own band called the Esquire Boys. He also worked with a band called Bill Haley and the Saddlemen, later known as Bill Haley and the Comets. And that guitar riff in Rock Around the Clock was Danny Cedrone. I actually met his daughter and his wife in Philadelphia a number of years ago. Somehow found their name and got to meet them and interview them. Great guy. There's very little information about him, but the family is an interesting fact. The guitar that he played on Rock Around the Clock. Now, when Danny passed away after recording that with Bill Haley, his wife sold a lot of his stuff, and later in life, when his daughter found out who her dad was, she went looking for this guitar. She found it in a pawn shop in Philadelphia, and said, "I'll pay anything for it." And the owner of the place said, I'll tell you what, I'll sell it to you for what I bought it for, $125. And so she bought it back, and I believe it's on loan to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right now. And that's what I got this week.
You'd be surprised who you hear these famous riffs on TV and on record, and you'd be surprised who did them. And that's an amazing story too. Would you believe? Do you remember Joey D and the Starlighters?
Is it Joe B there was a Joe B from...
No, Joey D.
Crickets.
No, Joey D.
Oh, Joey D. No.
He did the Peppermint Twist.
Okay.
That was the music. Anyway, did you know that Joe Pesci was a guitar player for him?
I didn't know that. That sounds cool.
Joe Pesci. So you'd be surprised who plays what, and you say, "Wow, he's an actor, or she's an actor, and she did that too." You'd be surprised. Hey, listen, in conjunction of all the birthdays, in conjunction with Carly Simon, who's 76 today, and Eddie Floyd that you mentioned, who's 84. The late George Michael is 58 today. Joe Chambers, and a jazz drummer, he's 79 today. And the late Harold Melvin of Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes would have been 82. He was a good friend of mine, too. He would have been 82 today, and those are the birthdays I have. And so there you go. I'm glad to see you back, Pete. I didn't know how you were.
I'm back, so I had about 3 months of fun work in the audiovisual and live events, camera work, a lot of streaming for businesses, doing stuff. It was a good time. Now I'm back on unemployment again, but...
Oh, I'm sorry.
But that's okay, because the live events are coming back. It looks like there's already some events booked here in Portland. Right now, but keep in touch, folks, with what your area is doing for live events, and be safe when you go see them. Bring a mask if you need to. I'm still wearing a mask on occasion.
Yes, okay? So am I. Yeah.
Depending where I go, I always have a mask with me. If I feel okay, I've been vaccinated. If I feel okay without it, I go without it.
Right.
What's also great about it, the mask, is, and I should have thought about this years ago, is I'm very allergic to pollen grass. And so when the pollen is bad in the air, I'm wearing my mask outside because it's just awful. You hear my voice right now, how it's kind of scratchy. That's what happens to me with the pollen in the air. So,
speaking of pollen, you remind me, when you mentioned that, you remind me of a commercial I saw on TV with recording artist Lisa Loeb, and she's playing, and the guy who's videotaping her, and the lady, she's like kind of, did you probably seen these commercials, the Geico commercials?
Yeah.
And he's wiping his eyes, and she says, "Are you crying?" He says, "No, it's just the pollen." Actually, he was crying because the song was so sweet, so he started crying.
Yeah.
But anyway. Hey, listen, before you go, we gotta talk about I gotta ask you more about the jaw. So let me ask you. So they relaxed you. How long did it take before it was fully back to normal?
It was about 8 hours. So what happened was, it locked. I called my primary care doctor, and they said they were busy and couldn't see me. So go to there was like a walk-in clinic at an old hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there. They couldn't do anything because they decided it was, the muscles were tensed and I needed drugs for this. So they're like, head to the big hospital downtown. Mm-hmm. They are waiting for you. So I'm like, great, okay, here we go. So
all right,
I got a ride downtown, and it took a while. It took about 8 hours total, but they got in. They looked me over. They gave me one type of drug, and then they tried prying my jaw back into place, and that didn't work. So then they gave me a stronger drug, which required me to be in the critical care room in case anything bad happened. But that actually, once they gave it to me, within a minute or so, it relaxed the muscles in my jaw, and they didn't have to do any prying. It just kind of went back into place.
Good. Were you able to speak at some point? No.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm asking because just in case I have to do out one of those big yawns, because I know how it is. It was a big yawn, right?
Yeah,
that'll happen. I bet that yawn felt good, but you gotta remember the mouth can open but so wide, and I remember one time I did a long stretch, pulled a muscle, so I'm gonna stretch moderately and yawn moderately from now on. Thanks for that update, Pete. We really appreciate you, and you're gonna be back with us next week, right?
Yes, definitely. And if I don't, make it in, I'll be sending you
of course,
a list of stuff for that week. Occasionally, I'll be working here and there this summer as events come back.
Okay, good to have you back.
Great, thank you. It was great to be back. I dropped my info in the comment chat room here. Check me out online on
which I'm going to read right now, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to read it right now. Okay, Pete, we'll catch you back here next week.
All right, take care, Frank, Brian, and everybody else out there in video land there. Have a good day.
All right, bye-bye. That's DJ Pete. Glad to have him back. I'm glad that he's able to go back to normal with his jaw. And, of course, DJ Pete, as I said, you can catch him on the radio on www.radioairwave.co.uk on Mondays at 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and Thursdays from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Also, you can catch him on WMPG Radio in Portland, Maine. If you're not that close to Portland, Maine, there's always the website, which is around the world. That's why they call it the World Wide Web, www.mpg.org every other Tuesday between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. and all times are on Eastern, so act accordingly. Thank you so much, DJ Pete, and we'll catch you back here next week. We don't have much time left in the show. We have about 3 minutes? Okay, that'll give me enough time to give you information about the movies that are coming on this weekend, because I have my picks on the weekends. Of course, you already know that, right? My picks of the movies that I think you're going to like on Turner Classic Movies. We're going to start off with The Wrong Man with Henry Fonda and Vera Miles back in 1956. That's coming on Turner Classic Movies tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So if you're up in time for breakfast, you can watch it at the same time. That's The Wrong Man. That's Alfred Hitchcock movie. He, of course, directed that. It was a great movie. I could watch that a billion times without getting tired of it. Also, another Alfred Hitchcock movie, which will be called The Birds with Tippi Hedren and Rod Taylor back in 1963. That will be Saturday at 8 p.m. So pop up the popcorn and grab your favorite beverage and relax on the couch. Strangers on a Train with Robert Walker back in 1951. Also, that will be Sunday. Sunday morning, that's overnight at 2:30 a.m. So if you're not up that late, if you can't stay up that late, at least DVR it. You can watch it another time. Also, Psycho with Janet Leigh and Anthony Perkins back in 1960, also on Turner Classic Movie. That will be Sunday at 8 p.m. Of course, they play that constantly. And here's another one. This is another Alfred Hitchcock movie, and I love it. It starred Tippi Hedren and Sean Connery, a movie called Marnie. That was done back in 1964. I love that movie. That's another Turner Classic Movie, and that's on Sunday at 10 p.m. So you have all of your great movies to relax by. Watch them again. The Wrong Man with Henry Fonda, The Birds, A Stranger on a Train, Strangers on a Train, Psycho, and Marnie. All of that's coming up. So please do it. And if you don't like any of those movies, of course, you could always go on demand and pick out your favorites. You have all the networks on it. You can scan through that or scan through the TCM and see the other movies. They're all there. And I think you'll like them. They're all there. And you could watch those too. But those are my picks. I got to go, but I'll be back here on next week. Don't forget to check out my podcast, The Blue Cafe. Go up there. You can see it. And it's right at the very bottom, Blue Cafe, and it takes you directly to the links to see all the great interviews I have for you. And don't forget to check out my show Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's called Talk Back Live. Brian Camp will be along with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update 2. Other than that, I'll be back here next week, bright and early, 10 a.m. from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern. That's always Eastern for more of the Coffee Hour. We thank you guys for being along with us. I want you guys to have a wonderful, wonderful day, a great weekend. And make sure whatever you do it on the safe side. And I will see you then. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.